What's up guys, today I'll be sharing my ways on how I mod my primary weapons. So before we start adding mods to the weapon, we need to check something first. We need to check the critical chance, its critical multiplier, the status chance, also the damage output or the damage spread of the weapon. In this case, we are using the Blunderbuss and Primed. The critical chance is 12%. The critical multiplier is 2 times, the status chance is 26%, and the damage output has the IPS spread. Mostly it's based on the slash as the biggest damage output for this weapon. So let's now start adding mods to the weapon. The first two mods that we'll be adding will be Serration for the damage output or the damage multiplier. Then we will add the split chamber for more multi-shot. So these two mods are what I call the important mods or the basic mods that you will see in all the builds or in all the primary weapons that you'll be building. So these two mods will always be present for all builds that you'll be putting on your primary weapons. And this one is for the rifles. For the shotguns, we have the point blank or the prime point blank and the health chamber. So now we will be adding the next two mods to the weapon. In this case, since we are sitting at 12% critical chance, we will be building this one for critical. So we'll be adding point strike or boosting the critical chance of the weapon. From 12% it raises to 30%. Then Vital Sense to increase the critical damage. So the next thing that we need to add is the elemental status mods. So since we are, or the weapon is mainly a slash based weapon, or has the highest chance of proccing slash, we will be pairing it up with viral. So that will be malignant force and rhyme rounds. So the reason we are using viral on this one, because for slash based weapon, the best pair for it is viral. The reason for that is viral will decrease the maximum HP of the enemy. So if you'll be hitting or proccing viral on the enemy, chances are the HP will be reduced to half. So I'll be adding in the link description below where you can check the status combination. The status elemental combination, what's good for the weapon, and also why or how it will affect the enemy faction that you'll be fighting with. Now we are up to the last two slots for our weapon. I usually call this last two slot as the auxiliary mod slots. This is where I usually put Rivens, more multi-shot, or anything that fits the way I use the weapon. So in this case, we will not be using any Riven in this one since I don't have a Riven, and for basic purposes so that anyone can build this, we will be adding vigilante armaments to increase the multi-shot of the weapon. And in my case, the last one will be vigilante fervor to increase the fire rate of the weapon. The reason why I'm adding vigilante fervor to my build is that for me the fire rate of the Blunderbuss and Primed is kind of slow for a full auto weapon, and also to pair up with vigilante armaments. So it has a set bonus of increasing the chance to enhance critical hits from primary weapons, meaning to say I can do orange crit on this one. So let's go ahead and check the performance of the Breton Prime using this build. So I'll be using a Corrupted Bombard, level 155, to test it out. As you can see, the slash proc is eating down the HP of the Corrupted Bombard, and the viral proc reduces its HP in half. So we do have now the basic build or the critical hybrid build for the weapon. So the next thing that we need to cover up is the how to build a status based weapon. But first, before we move ahead, you can also replace Vigilante Fervor since it's a crit based weapon with Hunter's Munition. So it will increase your chance of proccing slash damage to the enemy. So that's how I usually build a critical based weapon. And now let's move on how to build a status based weapon. So in this case, let's still use a Breton Prime. So we still have the Serration, and we also have the split chamber for more multi-shot. And instead of adding point strike and vital sense, we will now be using the other two elemental status mods on this build. So we have Rhyme Rounds and Malignant Force for the viral, and we'll be using High Voltage and also Thermite Rounds to also have a radiation proc on the enemy. This will also include CC. So for the effects on how this elemental combination will affect the enemy, I'll be placing that one in the link below. So I'm still using the last two slots. I'll still be using the Vigilante Fervor and also the Vigilante Armaments. So let's just test how it plays out. So in this case, I forgot to show you that we have now a higher status chance compared to the one we have earlier. So we were sitting at 88% with the split chamber or the multi-shot mods, but without the multi-shot mods, the base status chance is 57.2%. So now on this one, the status elemental mods, we are currently sitting at 99.5%, but just take note that you won't be, if you check the status chance of the weapon, you should not include the multi-shot mods in this one. So in this case, we have 88.4, and earlier we have just around 54%. So we have now higher chance of proccing viral, radiation, slash, or the basic damage output of the weapon. So let's go ahead and how this plays out and try how this plays out. I'll still be using 155 Corrupted Bombard. Just take note that this status build is not the best for the Breton Prime. I'm just setting up an example. So let's just fire this once. See? I just triggered or fired to the enemy once and I already have this status affected the enemy. This one we have 4. Let's just lift him up. So you can see that there's a lot of status affecting the enemy now. So let's go ahead and try to use a status build or a status based weapon just for you to see how much it works or how effective it is. So in this case, let's just use a Tigris. So we just have the same build as earlier, but in this one we have the prime point blank for the shotgun for the damage, else chamber for the multi-shot. Then this 4 slot will be for the let's just put that. So this 4 slot will be for the elemental status mods. So let me go ahead and check. Since it's a slash based weapon, we'll be using there radiation viral for this one, viral and radiation. Then we do have blaze to increase the damage output, and also vigilante armaments for more multi-shot. So I am building this one as a status based weapon. So you can see how many status it inflicts the enemy when we are using shotguns. So let me go ahead and try another weapon here. Let's try Deravando. Yeah, I still have one mod missing. So what I'll be adding this on in here is just check. Yeah, supposed to be hammer shot, but yeah, let's just add this one. So this is a status-based weapon for rifles. We have Serration, split chamber, high voltage, malignant force. So in this one, since its base damage is more on puncture, we will be using corrosive, not viral. So we have thermite rounds and rime rounds just to boost up the status of this weapon. So without the multi-shot mods, without this one, we are already sitting at 100% status. Meaning to say, every bullet that will hit the enemy, there's a chance to, or every bullet that hits the enemy, it will be an instant proc to either puncture, corrosive blast, since they are the most, or what we have the highest damage output in this weapon. So let's go add back the and hammer shot. So you can see how a rifle, a status-based weapon, plays out. See how it hits up or raise the armor of the enemy easily. So yeah, that's it. That's how you usually build your critical or status build primary rifle weapons. And as for shotguns, yeah, still the same thing. So you will just use the same concept. So first 2 slot will be for the damage mod and the multi-shot mod. Then the next one is you need to check the critical chance and the status chance. If you will build it for critical or status based weapon. So for me to tell that the weapon is or can be used or can be built as a critical based weapon, I usually find or check if the critical chance is 12% or higher. If it's less than 10%, I don't usually build critical or add critical mods on that one. So yeah, but for shotguns, if you want to build it with critical, you can just swap out Blunderbuss or the 2 elemental status mods with Blunderbuss and Prime Ravage. Or just the regular Ravage if you don't have the Prime one yet. Then the two elemental status mods. Then the auxiliary mods that you want to add in. So basically, the concept here is the first two slots is the damage and the multi-shot mods. Then you need to determine if it's viable for a crit build. If it is, you can add critical chance mod and critical damage mod. If not, if it has a low critical chance, just put in the elemental status mods there for these 4 slots. Then lastly you have the auxiliary mod slots. You can add anything you want. You can add hunter's munitions, vigilante armaments, more attack speed, more damage. You can add elemental damage mod there. It's really up to you on how you use the weapon or what suits your style in using the weapon. For me, I usually add either vigilante fervor, hunter munitions. If it's a critical based weapon, I use hunter munitions. And sometimes for shotgun, I use chilling reload if it has a high reload speed. So yeah, basically that's it. That's how I mod my primary weapons for rifles and shotguns. So if you want me to make more videos on or tutorials on how to mod weapons, just comment down below on what weapons or what builds you want me to show next. So next will be showing on how we mod or how I mod my secondary weapons. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.